Twitter and Instagram at the same time because of that Instagram glitch. Because of that Instagram glitch, they literally cut off all three streams at the same time. So we got to re-up. Gots to re-up all of those streams. So I think we're back. I think we're back for a little bit. Let me see. I think we're back in the hizzy. Yep, we're back. All right, there we go. I see you now, Scope. All right, rep your city, rep your town, Periscope. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know where you're coming in from and tap that screen. Let me see them hearts popping. Yeah, right. Let me see them hearts popping. All right, we back up on the scope. Yes. Yes. There we go. They've already outnumbered you. Let me see. Did they outnumber you? Nope, y'all about running. Yeah, they outnumbered you, Facebook. All right. And I think I'm back up on the gram. Let me check the gram. Let me check the gram. Yes, sir. We back up on the gram. Hey there, lady. Bass be jam. I saw you were on the live stream yesterday on our church live stream. Thank you for tuning in. All right, they're joining over there on the gram side as well. So I want you to hit me up, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're coming in from, and tell me. I need to know what y'all think. What's your position on these crazy protests? These Confederate flag waving protesters who are out there flaunting social distancing. I mean, completely flaunting. I got a little bit of echo. Let me see if I can check this out. There, I think I fixed it. I know I fixed it. Okay. So they're out there flaunting social distancing. They're out here flaunting social distancing completely. And not only are they flaunting it, they're justifying it. But that brings an added level of danger to us. Because if these people have no regard for social distancing and they're passing the virus to one another, who knows if and when we may come in contact with some of these crazies inadvertently, and the virus gets passed over to us. I mean, come on now. Think about it. It's insane. It's complete insanity. And the other thing about that is this. What would happen? And I want your honest opinion. I think I know what it is already. But what would happen if thousands of black people flaunted the social distancing guidelines and edicts by the nation's governors and packed out state capitals and places in contact with some of the guidelines and edicts? What would happen? if they went carrying rifles, what would happen? What would happen? I just want to know. I'm curious. What would happen? Yes, they own guns, Michelle. These crazies own guns. Alton Davis, I see you from St. Louis. I see you. Gary, McGee Crossroads, Benson, Senator Erica Smith for North Carolina. All right. I'm sounding clear now. I'm glad. Truth is not hate. You're absolutely right. So come on now. What would happen? Let's just keep it real. Or as the young folks say, keep it 100. Come on. What would happen if there was no coronavirus and black folks stormed state capitals? What would happen, y'all? Y'all know what would happen. We all know what would happen. Tear gas, masks, riot gear, all that stuff would be happening with law enforcement. We know it. I mean, someone sent me a picture of two police officers kicking a black man out of a park while a white man was doing a handstand and another white man was just sitting down with headphones on, and they weren't saying anything to the white people. I went to church yesterday. Let me tell you what happened. Y'all excuse me because I'm not over the air now. I can eat my orange. Last week on Easter, we had something we called dress up, pull in, tune in, pull out. Our people dressed up like they would on any Easter. And they took pictures and posted them using our hashtag. Then they drove into the church parking lot and they tuned into our live stream from their cars in the parking lot. And then they pulled out and they got Easter baskets curbside as they pulled out. There were people who were driving by our lot taking pictures because they assumed, because the parking lot was full of cars, they assumed that we were breaking the social distancing guidelines and having our regular Easter service, and they were completely wrong. So this week, yesterday I pulled in and there's a police officer sitting in our church parking lot. And of course, Ben Lawrence, what's happening, my friend? Long time no see. Man, good to see you. I hope all is well with you and your family. So I pulled up to the cop car. I said, is there a problem? No, sir. I said, then what are you doing here? Then he said, oh, I'm watching the house over there. I knew he wasn't. But basically, I let him know, this is private property. You can't just sit in my parking lot. And if you don't have any business here, you need to go. I know what he was there for. He was there because somebody called him about the week before without the proper information, without really knowing what we did last week. And they thought they were going to do something this week, but it didn't go down that way. Hey, man, it's good to hear. Good to hear you and the family are doing well, man. So that's how it went down yesterday. So my point is this: you're nitpicking and shutting down black churches that are complying with the social distancing guidelines, while evangelical white churches are ignoring it altogether, and y'all ain't saying nothing. What's that all about? Now, we all know that if me and the bruhs went to the state capitol, come on, carrying rifles and all that kind of tomfoolery, you already know. You already know. We be getting rubber bullets, tear gassed, and we be in cuffs. Y'all be coming to bail us out. Y'all already know what would be happening. Without a doubt, that's how it would go down. But no, not if you carry a Confederate flag. You got white skin, and you got a Trump sign. You carrying a rifle. You all good then. Don't matter if you're complying with any social distancing edicts or anything like that. Because we wouldn't want to upset the white supremacist in chief. Wouldn't want to do that at all. 413-337-1867. You can still call in if you'd like to chime in on the conversation. Let me go over here and see what y'all are saying. Yeah, Jeremy, I see you on Twitter. Imagine a mosque. Demonstrating that way. You're absolutely right. Oh, it would be jihad is happening. It'd be terrorism. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Okay. Shakina, all the way from France. All right. Bonjour. All that stuff. Glad to have you on. You know what that's about. Yeah, Jeremy, we know what that's about. What's happening, Elder Samuel Lee Parker? I'm going to try to keep fighting in good faith, brother. Y'all pray for me. The typical nosy Karen. Y'all going in over here on the gram, boy. Y'all going in on the gram. Let's see. I know I got to have some trolls on here, too. Listen. Understand. The thing that I'm really trying to get you to understand is this guy is too dangerous to remain in office. He's too dangerous to remain in office. Now, anybody who follows me, you understand that I have not given crime bill Joe Biden a pass. You all know. I mean, I've done whole radio shows about Joe Biden's particular stance on issues that affect black people. You know, I talked about him siding with segregationists. You know, I talked about the debilitating effects of the crime bill and how it decimated 2 generations of black people and spurred mass incarceration in this nation. You know, I completely excoriated him because while Bill Clinton and many of the people in the Congressional Black Caucus who voted for the crime bill have all expressed their regret at supporting it. Bernie Sanders, who supported it, expressed his regret. Joe Biden doubled down, expressed no regret. Matter of fact, continue to defend the crime bill. Okay? So you check the records. You know I'm on record. So no way have I ever soft-shoed, Jim Crow Joe. But once again, we find ourselves in that place where we've got to choose between Satan and Lucifer. And the devil in the White House is too dangerous to keep in there. That's the conclusion I've come to. He's too dangerous to keep in there. And so we've got to get out and vote at all costs. Speaking of which, there are initiatives in many states, including in ours. I had a conversation with Congressman Joe Kennedy. He and his opponent, incumbent Senator Markey, are pushing to have mail-in voting for registered voters because of the coronavirus pandemic, to protect the voters. And so we're in 100% support of that. And hopefully in your states, if they are proposing anything like that, that you will support that. Because we don't know how this is going to go. This may abate for a while. And history tells us that even when these pandemics abate, they normally come spring, abate summer, and come back in the fall. And if it comes back in the fall, we may have a problem going to the polls in November if there's not a vaccine by then, which there likely won't be based on the timelines that have been predicted. So it may be safer for everybody to do mail-in voting. Now, of course, the Republicans are going to oppose this. They're going to oppose this on this fictitious notion of voter fraud. Now, here's the thing. Somebody said they're scared that Trump will roast Biden in a debate. Only thing Trump is going to do is bully somebody and tell lies and try to out-talk them, et cetera, et cetera. He's not a great debater. He's a clown. He appeals to the circus of his followers. No, the Republicans don't want vote by mail. Of course not. Because that means a lot of the folks who are inclined not to vote Republican, who may not get to the polls normally, the elderly, some students, et cetera, would have a higher likelihood of voting, which is not in their best interest. But we need to support in the states that we can pass it. We need to support vote by mail. So I'll be supporting that here in Massachusetts. There are very extenuating circumstances in this national election. There is a pandemic that is killing people. Okay? There's a pandemic killing people. It's dangerous to go out and vote and be around other people. Wisconsin Republicans blocked voting by mail. People were standing in line with protective gear on, risking their lives to vote. And it backfired on Republicans. It backfired on them. But we don't want to put people's lives at risk just to exercise our right to vote. So if your state is sponsoring it, support it. Push your legislators to support it. I think it's an easy pass here, but there are other states where it's not so easy to pass. So that's where we are. Yeah, they said they were going to do that in Wisconsin. You're absolutely correct. Um, but, Republicans didn't want it. And you got to remember, Trump tweets stuff, and these Republicans eat up his tweets, and they think they're marching orders. So when Trump tweets that mail-in voting is fraud, then the Republicans in Wisconsin say, hey, the boss said oppose it. And that's what they do. They take their marching orders based on what this guy tweets. It's complete insanity, y'all. It is complete insanity. Now here, before I get off the air, let me tell you one of the most dangerous things I think that can come out of this whole pandemic. Here's a real downside. 22 million people out of jobs. Now think about this. The way this administration has handled this pandemic has not only caused over 40,000 deaths, it has caused stock market crashes. It has caused 22 million people filing for unemployment to be out of work. Literally, the total number of jobs gained. Think about, this is how mind-boggling this thing is. The total number of jobs gained in the last 10 years have been lost in the last 4 weeks. 10 years of job gains lost in 4 weeks because of this pandemic that this administration handled completely incompetently. A pandemic they knew was coming since September of last year. A pandemic that was talked about at Event 201 in October of last year. A pandemic that U.S. intelligence briefed and warned Israel about in November of last year, that the president was calling a hoax in March of this year. Y'all do the math. From September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months they had known this was spreading when Trump was calling it a hoax. 6 months they could have been stockpiling protective equipment, masks and ventilators and gloves, etc. 6 months they could have been working on a vaccine. If it takes a year to get a vaccine, we'd already be 6 months ahead of the game. 7 months now that we're in April. 7 months now that we're almost in May, so we'd be almost 8 months ahead of the game. We'd be 4 months away from a vaccine had they started back in September. Now, if this continues, people are out of work, monies are not available, unemployment is running thin, we're going to start seeing some violence happening. We're going to start seeing homes being raided, stores being looted. This can happen, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't conspiracy theory. This is predicting human nature during times of turmoil. This can all happen And so while many of y'all are out there stockpiling toilet paper and hand sanitizer, these white militias are stockpiling weapons. They already want a race war. They've been preparing and training for that for ages. And they see this as potentially the catalyst to get what they've always wanted. Okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind in terms of, you know, the worst that could happen through all of this. Um, I mean, this could completely wipe out the economy globally. It could completely devastate the healthcare system. It could completely put human beings in desperate situations where they act in desperation. So we continue to pray that more level heads will prevail, um, that a vaccine will be found, that we can get this madman and everybody associated with his administration the hell out of government so some sane people can be in place. Um, and we can get back to some level of normalcy. All right, I got to move out your way. Um, our virtual Bible study is on Wednesday via Zoom. Check our social media page. We're streaming live on Sunday at 11. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, we're building over there. Um, everything is at Talbert Swan. Go over and subscribe to my YouTube page. If you're not on my Instagram, I know I got a lot of y'all on Facebook. About 50-something thousand of y'all over on the Facebook side, and about 145,000 or so of you on the Twitter side. Now, what I need y'all to do is go over to my Instagram at Talbert Swan. Um, Go on over to my Instagram and follow me there on Instagram. And I even got on this TikTok thing and that I don't use and don't know how to use still. Don't even well. Anyway, I'm there too. So if you got that, go on over there and follow me over there. Everything is at Talbert Swan on all of the various platforms. So I got to get out your way. I'll probably come back with you on my Corona check-in probably later on this evening. So if you're around, um, check it out. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys on Mondays. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me, always remember God loves you, and so do I. Wow.
Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, say his name. Kimani Gray, won't you say his name? John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, say his name. John Crawford, say his name.